Welcome back to the farm. Just getting this field wrapped up with my last fill and getting ready to move base camp. Getting ready to start up the trucks over there. Got a couple different anhydrous bottles. We've got a delivery coming from the co-op that if we have both of those trucks empty of anhydrous, we can take a full big delivery from them. So they're empty, we're moving them to our new location, and the delivery should be coming yet this morning. We got our seed tender truck, their sprayer that's spraying Roundup before and Anthem Flex after, and of course a few service rigs to help us run around. So continuing on with our variable rate fertilizing, seeding, and just another nice morning out on the farm. Some of you might be wondering why there is a badger flag flying on top of my drill. Well, it's because that's my CB handle, Badger. We all kind of earn our CB handle in our own unique way, but mine is the Badger because I can be a little feisty and stubborn sometimes. Maybe a little more than a little if you ask my wife. It's nice to have a flag out, not just for fun, but for especially where we're running anhydrous. I can tell which direction the wind's blowing quickly as I'm, if I have an issue or if I'm undoing hoses for filling our tanks, that kind of thing. I can just make sure I don't get downwind from it. A little bit of rain on the windshield. I can go through a little bit of rain, but there is a lot of residue out there, so if you get too much, it starts getting a little bit sloppy or starts balling up. Luckily, I got this harrowed right in front of the drill yesterday, so to size it up a little better, spread out those chaff rows, and line up the longer straw. So since he harrowed it this way, it's lined up so it can flow through my drill easier without plugging up sideways on my openers. So we're set up about as well as we can to get through it. So we did end up getting rained out. So I'm waiting for it to dry and fixing a few things. I noticed that I had a white cloud back here when I was turning out on my last pass. And it's because one of the little black tubes for anhydrous that's supposed to go in that hole, it got pulled out and was missing. You can see on the other openers, the little black hose for the anhydrous, and the bigger black hose, the seed and the starter dry goes down into the openers. I think this one had got pulled out somehow, and then it got under one of these roller packer wheels that goes behind each opener, and then it pulled on the hose and broke it off, because I could see there was a pinched off part on it. So kind of crazy to see. I guess I'll show you the pinched off part right here. You can see that it just pulled on it until it pulled it in two, and I lost the other part out in the field. So I've got some more hose, gonna have to put a splice on, get it going again, and then try to secure the hose a little bit better with a farmer's friend here, good old Gorilla Tape to hold it up. Zip ties and Gorilla Tape can keep hoses out of the way so they don't get pulled apart. Kind of fun to look at some other things here on this drill. So we have on each of our towers, there's 5 towers that have about 9 openers each on them, and you can see the other ones over there. We have monitors. You can see blockage monitors, a little kind of black box just after each hose comes off, and they're hooked in series there, and we're labeled with each number of opener in red on them. So a sensor in the cab, the monitor in the cab, the Agtron sensor goes off if one gets a blockage, and I have to open it up, take it apart, and get the little clump of dry fertilizer or whatever that's blocking it out. Little rocks will do it, a little piece of garbage, a clump of extra treat on seed. Doesn't take too much to block them. And then you can see the other towers for the anhydrous. There's 4 of those towers for the 4 anhydrous sections on this drill, and there's the master block for the anhydrous, the hose coming from the tanks up front. There's a lot going on. hopefully we'll get going here again pretty soon. Okay, got the anhydrous tubes fixed, and I tested them out just briefly as I was driving, flipping each of the 4 control valves on. Look like they're all working good and not leaking now. And then each day when I start, I just do a double check on my sensors, because sometimes the sensor goes bad or you miss something, or 1/2 of a tube's blocked. You can see it's got a paired row, so it's putting out seed and fertilizer in each. Sometimes the sensor doesn't pick it up if only one side's blocked. But I'm just making sure that there's a good mix of the seed and fertilizer. You can see the pink treated seed, and then the different kinds of fertilizer. We got some of it's white, some of it's green colored there. And so I'm making sure every opener has got a little bit behind it on both sides. So I just walk through here and look at them all and make sure they all make sense. So that one looks like maybe it's plugged on the one side, so I'm gonna have to get something in there and jiggle it and push on it to make sure it's gonna work. Well, I got that unplugged. I had to shove a little pointed screwdriver in there and dig out a little clump of fertilizer. Was plugging up 1/2 of that opener. So you can see got a tractor heroin ahead of me spreading out some residue, and then that's where I'll be later in the day today. And then, oh, he just disappeared in a little draw, but got a guy in a sprayer who was spraying the next field ahead of me than this, so he was getting Roundup on the field I'll be in tomorrow. So there's a lot of coordination getting everything done at the right time. You might be able to see him with his flashy lights on the sprayer heading this way. So I think we're gonna be able to get going. Well, we got going again. I thought I'd come back and make sure that the seed and fertilizer is getting in at the depth we want. So you can see I dug in the ground with my little tool, and there's the seed and there's fertilizer, and checking depth. It's about 1.5 inches down. It's right where I want it. So so I'm feeling good about that. If I dig a little bit more here, I should find, there's some more seed right there. And then on this other side, since it's a paired row, there should be some tucked in here too. There's a worm. That's good soil health right there. There's another worm. Or maybe 2/2 of a worm. Maybe I cut that one in half. All right, and then here's on the other side of the row, there's some seed there. So it's right where I want it. Guess we'll keep going.